Please share the information provided in this video. Always remember that a crucial part of removing a person's confusion is understanding his or her unique source of it. Should Christians follow Old Testament laws? Yes and no. Some yes, some no. And people say, well, you're just picking and choosing which rules that you want to follow. You know, there's rules about stoning gay people. Why don't you do that? You know, but you want to follow the Ten Commandments, yada yada. You don't really believe the Bible. The reason Christians don't follow the Old Testament laws is because the Old Testament laws don't apply to Christians. They apply to Jews. And they were given for the purpose of building a nation, for the purpose of creating a nation. Some of the rules that are in there are moral laws that Christians would follow, because God, of course, when He makes a nation and He creates rules for that nation, He's obviously going to put in some of His, rules of right and wrong. But there will be other rules in there that are given simply for the purpose of sanctification, which just means making them different unto God, making them a unique people. And so some of those rules aren't really for the purpose of, this is the way people should always live. Some of those rules are for the purpose of, I want to make a unique nation. And the reason God's doing that is, we don't know, but that is the story in the Bible, that, God promised to defeat evil through a son that was born. And, the first king, Nimrod, comes along in Genesis 11, and we think, okay, now we've got civilization, now we've got law and order, and God says no. He goes to this guy, Abraham, who has nothing great about him. He wasn't a better guy than anyone else. He was normal. But the point is this is something God's doing. And then it's a long story of how God is going to create a nation, and all the blessing or cursing of God will rest on what God is going to do through that nation that He's creating. And ultimately, the promised son comes through the nation. But over and over again, the nation seems like it's going to die, and somehow God saves it. And it's really sort of putting the idea of grace or undeserved favor or help from God that you don't deserve into a long national story of a race, chosen because there's nothing special about them. And He gives them these laws to make them unique, to make them different. So as Christians, we know, well, obviously some of those laws would obviously still apply, but which ones do and which ones don't. We look to the New Testament apostles to tell which ones do and which ones don't. And they were very clear, which ones were the sort of moral laws from God and which ones were just given for the purpose of sanctification. The final question would be like, well, why are these rules so strict? And that is an important question, and why are the Jewish laws so strict? But we'll save that for another video. Thank you for your time.